Hey, what's going on everybody? ScottDogGaming here. Thank you very much for joining us. As you can see, we're back. We're playing some more Football Manager. Big game today. We are up against Wolverhampton Wanderers away from home. We currently sit in first place, would you believe? They're currently sitting in fourth place. They have a very good team. We clearly have a reasonable team. I think we had a real purple patch start of the season. Taking a bit of a dip now, maybe more towards our actual level of ability, and we're starting to struggle a little bit in games. You're not allowed to play against your parent club. Didn't realise that's where you came from. So we're going to have to put Spence in there, which is a worry because he's not very good. But we've got Waghorn, Sears, McGoldrick. Diaby's an interesting one. He's not happy. He's an unhappy bunny because he wants to play, which is nice. But McGoldrick, Sears, they're all doing quite well for us, I think, to be honest with you. Let's make the same changes as we made last time. So you can go over there, you can go there. McGoldrick can play up front. Sears does a lot of damage out on that wing. Let's get started. You'll also notice, get ready for this, I think it's going to come as a shock to you all, I turned the team talk thing off. Let's be passionate and let's go out there and impress me. Go on, you can do it. Calm. Let's do it. He's been getting a bit upset about the team talk. He listened keenly to me. He listened keenly. I can't say keenly. Right, here we go. Up against Wolves. They've got a player. I thought it said called Baby, but it's called Bolly. Okay. Oh god, they're in quite quickly. I do like that when we take our goal kicks, our two centre halves and our two fullbacks are standing literally in each other's pockets. There's Selena, there's Hughes. Ooh, a rubbish shot. Right, we're 2 minutes in and we are settling okay from the looks of things. There's Waghorn, ball across. Spence is there, Sears is there. Waghorn again. Should have done better. Connor Cody, there you go, another ex-Liverpool player. I think Ruddy is an ex-Norwich player, possibly from memory. So I thought today we could talk a little bit about, with our Abu Diaby being a bit of a grump, we could talk about Arsenal and more specifically Arsene Wenger. What in the hell was that? So Arsenal have had Arsene Wenger in charge for a very long time. Is it 15 years, 20 years? I don't know how long it is, but a very long time. In which time he has won the league. He's had the Invincibles. He's done a very good job. Never quite cut it in Europe. But he was a poster boy for... it's weird to say Arsene Wenger was a poster boy for anything, but he was a poster boy for keeping a manager at a football club. But it helped that he started well. You don't keep a manager at a football club when they don't start well. It's just the way it works. But he was an absolute poster boy for stability, a bit like Ferguson, a bit like the managers that have been around for long times tend to get it right at some point in that time. Otherwise, they don't stick around. That's key. But he was a poster boy for that. But he was also now a poster boy for keeping someone at a club for too long, which is odd because he did such a great job when he first came in. Oh, Waghorn, come on, and then he kept stability and was qualifying for the Champions League every year, and people were relatively content with that. And then as time went on, people started thinking, oh, hold on, we haven't really won anything, and it started to progress a little bit down that road. Oh, Silva dancing through our team, and then the shot was terrible. But that's the thing, isn't it? Is that everybody talks about managers being let go way too early, not being given a chance to stamp their mark on football clubs and various other things, and then all of a sudden you've got a manager who's been at a football club for 20 odd years and he's stamped his authority so much on it that they've started to go backwards. And Wenger's always had his issues. He's had money to spend, never quite gone and invested in the right areas. There was years when they were crying out for a defensive midfielder, but oh, come on. Really? I had faith in you, Bilakowski. How could you do this to me? Come on, Bill. Oh, man. Well. What was I saying? Arsene Wenger, yes. So there was this times when he could have gone and brought the player that they needed. You know, there was just times when there was one or two players, a bit like Liverpool, one or two players could have made them into world beaters, and they didn't go and do it because he thought, oh, I can rely on youth, I can rely on these young players. And they just never quite had the leadership and the drive and the ability in certain areas to progress to that next step. And that was the problem. And it's been a problem for 20 odd years now. What are we doing? We get towards the goal and then we just kind of tap it to the goalkeeper. Will someone put their foot through the effing ball? Aggressive. Show me something else in the second half. Grr. Get out there. Do something. Yes. So, you know, it's an odd one. It's an odd one, Wenger. I have no idea who they're going to replace him with. Liverpool have an assistant manager who's been an assistant manager with Jurgen Klopp for 20 odd years. I think it is. Something like that. And he left the club, or he didn't leave the club. He's on, I'm going to use the inverted commas, gardening leave. Due to family reasons or personal reasons, I think is the explanation. He's still employed by the club, and it could be absolutely genuine, but then there's a lot of speculation in the media that Arsenal want him as their manager. Now, Arsenal also signed one of the, it was either the chief scout or the director of football or something along those lines from Borussia Dortmund, where Klopp and the assistant manager, I can't remember his name, begins with a Z or a B, one of those. Burex. Anyway, the guy who's now possibly in charge of recruitment is possibly in charge of bringing in or helping bring in a manager at Arsenal. This fella's been playing as assistant manager or been assistant manager for Klopp for so long. And now the opportunity may well have come to say, hey, do you want to fancy giving it a go yourself? That I find really, really interesting. If it is true, I find it so interesting. DRB, you've been banging on about it. Get out there and do something. If that is true, then it's going to be very, very intriguing. What I find really interesting is, first off, it happens before the end of the season. If it's that much of a thing, why aren't, you know, if Arsenal are that keen on him, then see out the end of the season. It happens before the Champions League final, and it also is the person that Jurgen Klopp on numerous occasions has described as the brain. You know, Jurgen Klopp is the man manager, I think. I genuinely can't remember his name. Is the assistant manager is the tactical guy. For Liverpool to not have the tactical guy in for the biggest game of the season and possibly the decade for them against Real Madrid is massive. What are we doing, boys? I've got nothing to give here. I really haven't. Overload. Oh, come on. You could have got there. A little bit of determination. Unbelievable. How is that a corner? Why didn't their first cross that went in go like that? There we go, Sears. Go on, boy. Oh, McGoldrick's now injured. Great. Garner, get up front. So yes, it will be very interesting to see if that's the reason, you know, rather than the personal reasons or anything else, and what that means. You know, we don't know how much of Klopp's management is down to his backroom staff. He's always said that they are vitally important, but every manager would say that anyway. But if he is the one who's been making a lot of the decisions, get in, boys. If he is the one who's been making a lot of decisions, then things could be very, very different for Liverpool going forward, you know, for better or for worse. You know, I mean, I was petrified when Coutinho left because Coutinho had been, we've got a penalty. DRB won a penalty. Ghana, oh God, come on. I knew it. I knew he was going to put it down the middle. I almost said he's going to put this down the middle. For fuck's sake. And now they're about to score. Oh. Yes, so it'll be interesting to see. I was petrified when Coutinho left because I thought Coutinho is so important in every single game that we play. He's the one, oh my good God, he's the one that creates chances for us. We are going to lose so much creativity. We're going to be struggling. And it might have been true if Salah hadn't come in and scored 40 goals. Oh God. But I guess from my point of view, it could be a change. You know, we've seen Coutinho go and us actually probably look better in terms of balance. You know, and we work the ball far quicker forward than what we did with Coutinho, and that has helped us this season in the league. So actually, I think it's been okay. I think we've obviously sort of proven that it's not the end of the world when someone leaves a football club. But we don't know how important he is. That's the difference. Is we could see how important Coutinho was, and it came as a surprise. We don't know how important he is in the first place. But it'd be interesting to see if he goes to Arsenal, does a good job, or doesn't do a good job. You know, and what happens after that. But there's also talk that Klopp and the assistant manager, I wish I could remember his name for you, are always having sort of they're kind of a bit like a married couple by all accounts. They see eye to eye when it's good, it's very good. When it's bad, they're at each other's throats. But I guess that's what makes a good team. Realistically, you know, that sometimes what you need is someone driving you along and disagreeing with you rather than agreeing with you. That's always what you need to see it from both sides. So Arsenal, yeah, and who else could be their manager? I don't know who else is out there. You know, I'm intrigued. There's people like Conte, who Chelsea manager, who's probably coming up for the end of the season. I don't think Chelsea are going to keep him. The World Cup's coming up, so there's going to be managers managing in that and then leaving. The national teams like Joachim Low, if he's still at Germany, is probably going to be around. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the Premier League. You know, I don't know who else is in charge of big sort of nations at the World Cup, but there's going to be a lot of change around after that if clubs don't do as well as they did, or people have just sort of finished that cycle of being national team manager. You know, I get the feeling that there will be some big chopping and changing at the end of that, and that's maybe where Arsenal's manager will come from. But again, that leaves you to the same point. What happens when? Because the transfer window is shorter than it's ever been. But more importantly, you want people to come in and stamp their mark. You know, if you bring in a manager after the World Cup, realistically that gives you a month, I think, to buy people, if that. You know, and that means you've got to do all the contract stuff. You've got to identify the player. You've got to be sure he's the player you want. You've got to find out if he wants to come. You've got to agree a transfer. You've oh God, I don't think that was the right thing to say. Yeah, you've got to agree a transfer. Then you've got to do all your finances for contract things, and then you've got to bed them into the team. You've got a pre-season that's probably already started before they turn up. You've got tactics and training and stuff to do. You know, so you're talking for that manager that comes in, the first season is a write-off. Pretty much. The first season's a write-off because you didn't get to bring in the players you wanted to bring in. You didn't, you know, you're working with the team that's someone else's. And that is a big thing. You know, some managers will come in and not be able to do that. And if you hire a manager, sign him on a 5-year contract or a 4-year contract, and then he comes in and tries to make best he can for the first 6 months with a, you know, and we know that transfers don't generally happen in January because of the cost, although that might change now because the cost is through the roof anyway. But you bring in someone, he doesn't go away and hit the ground running. Can't bring in players, so he's playing with, and especially Arsenal, they've got a particularly average squad for a team that wants to be in the top 4. You know, for the top 6 teams, they're probably, you know, they're 5th or 6th in terms of the quality of their squad. They've got 1 or 2 good players. I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Ozil wants to leave. They've got Aubameyang and Lacazette, and I don't understand how those two are ever going to play together. It'd be interesting to see if they try and play a 4-4-2, not a 4-2-2, that'd be weird. A 4-4-2 with those players, but 4-4-2 is kind of an old hat formation that doesn't really get played anymore. So then you've got 2 very good strikers, one of them having to play on the wing. It doesn't really sit right. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of them wants to leave. And probably I saw somewhere in the press them saying that the new Arsenal manager will be given £200 million. Now, sounds like an incredible amount of money, is a very average amount of money. If you're talking two players now, almost two good players to come in and boost your squad, or being your first team, you're talking two players, because a very average footballer costs 40-50 million pounds. So you're talking, to get the good players in, you're talking 100 million pounds, and to do that, to have 200 million, means you're going to free up some funds somewhere else to bring in more players. I'm pretty sure of that. So it's going to be very interesting. And then it's a World Cup year, so when players have a good World Cup, their prices go through the absolute roof. So it will be interesting to see. I love the fact that I skipped doing team talks there after whinging about him doing the team talks. I think it's only the big games that I'm worried about, or where we start to get a bit tetchy and things start to go a little bit wrong. Waghorn, have I got anyone I can bring on? Yes, Ken Lock. Oh, that's not you. Hold on. Yes, McKendry, that's you. Sorry. He's back. He's back in the team, everybody. For those of you who don't know, McKendry came on first half of the season. We had some injuries very first few games and was a star for us. There he is, winning the header. I don't know if he did win the header, but here he goes, running down the wing. Oh, get in. He's made a difference already. Iorfa with the goal, I think it was. Garner with the assist, but there's the man, look, out on the wing, playing an inch perfect cross from deep to Garner, who probably should have just done better, but Iorfa was thankfully there to follow up, get in. So I'd love to hear your comments in this episode, who you think will be Arsenal manager. There was talk about the Juventus boss. I'm rubbish with names. I used to follow football so much that I'd know pretty much most players who are playing in most leagues, and playing Football Manager constantly helped. But now I've got no idea who's in charge of teams. I've got no idea who's star players for teams. I've got no idea of anything. From anything other than Liverpool, essentially, or the Premier League. Get in, McKendry. What a star he is. I'd love to know who you think will be the Arsenal manager, or should be the Arsenal manager. I guess there's two different things there. Who you think should be the Arsenal manager, who you think will be the Arsenal manager, who you think they should bring in, and who you think they should let go. That's what I'd like to see from you guys. So if you fancy, let me know that'd be great. And we're approaching this video is probably going up at the end of the season, so we're gonna have some weeks where there's no football going on. So I'd love to know what you would like me to talk about. But then we're also heading to a World Cup. So once the season finishes, we'll start talking about who we think will be the performers at the World Cup, who we think should be in the England squad, who we think is going to win the World Cup, and that sort of stuff. I think we'll save that until the season finishes, though. I will make one shout before this finishes, though. Personally, I think James Milner should come out of retirement for the England squad, because he has been a revelation in midfield for us. And him and Henderson have got a good partnership going. And unfortunately, him, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Henderson would have been great in the middle of the park for England, but that's not to be. But yes, I'd love to know your thoughts on that in the coming episodes. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about, then or if you'd like me to shut up, then please let me know in the comments. If you're of the view that I just talk way too much and you'd rather me commentate on what's going on the screen, then please say that. But I thought I'd try a different approach. I thought I'd give you some of my opinions on football and what's happening, and if you don't like them, then please tell me to shut my mouth. But here we go. Last few minutes. Thankfully, they've headed that over. We should probably look at making some changes again. The problem with me talking so much is that I forget to make any changes to the team, and then we struggle with not having any fit players because I'm an idiot. Okay. Looks like we're going to see this one through. There's 10 minutes to go-ish with injury time. So we're just going to see this one through. And it looks like Wolves are losing to Millwall, which I'm going to guess is good. Iorfa's picked up another booking. He's on 7 for the season. We're not at Christmas yet, Iorfa. Calm down. Okay. Looks like we're I thought we were playing Plymouth. I don't know why. But there we go. We've turned over QPR at Portman Road. There's the ball across. There's Garner. Sears again having a great game out on that wing. And there's the full-time whistle. Let's have a little look at how he did. He came on and he got a 7.1 and a goal and was great. What a man. What an absolute man. He looked extremely delighted. Okay, Waghorn's injured. We've got a lot of these little injuries now starting to pile up. Let's keep going. We'll call it here. We are first in the table, everybody. Let's have a look at what that means. 1 point ahead of Sheffield Wednesday. This is the one I'm interested in. I don't really care here or there. We played a game more, but this is what I'm interested in. I want us to be clear from this pack here, because that means we're going to the Premier League and we're getting some money. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, follow us on Twitter at ScottDogGaming, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.